it would have done my heart good to find out I was right in my thinking about who and what God was. I would have been happy to learn that the way I was brought up to believe about God was wrong, and now I was on a one-way path to salvation. Yes, all of this would have been wonderful, but it didn't turn out that way. I had, over the years of my life, come to put down the old religious teachings of my youth. I had come up with some new thinking about what it is to be spiritual and have a connection with God. The real truth is that whatever spirituality I had come up with, I see it now as limiting and old dogmatic, as limiting as the old dogmatic religions. I never in 1,000 years would have thought the visit had a divine plan so wonderful it couldn't be imagined. This plan was so simple, it was missed 2,000 years ago. A man came to tell us we are all children of God, and we as human beings missed it. This time around, as we move into this new age, it isn't so much about one master coming to tell us this. It is about us coming to know we are all masters and children of God with the power to change the consciousness of the world. We could bring Eden back to earth. God's children needed first to learn the truth about who they are. The first printing of Blessing, Gifts, and Deeds started the ball rolling on that. From those teachings came the gathering of the first masters. These masters gathered other masters, yet it was a slow process in the beginning. The angels came again and gave information about the gate of grace to open a space of healing and angelic communication. As the numbers of masters grew, again, the angels came with sacred oils to raise the vibrations of not only those that were gathered, but those that were not. As we were taught about vibrational frequencies, we were taught of tools and other than the oils to help us in this. The angels gave the tenets of healing. Myself and other masters started helping people heal. As this information was taught to others and they became proficient in the art of healing, people began to see there was more going on here than met the eye. They began to see people being healed in body, mind, and emotions so that their spirit was set free. However, there was a problem with the spirit being set free. Once it was, the masters couldn't go back to the way it had been. There had to be a greater purpose besides what was going on around them, and indeed there was. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King had a dream. His dream made it possible to change the actions and the thinking of a country. It wasn't easy, and sometimes it was dangerous. People were beaten, thrown in jail, and sadly, some of people were killed. The stand he and the people that joined him took made this country a better place for us all. Gandhi too had a dream and said, "An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind." He was about nonviolent actions, violent actions that changed a country. We all of us in our right minds have a dream of a world living in peace and harmony. But it is time that we as children of God stop living in a dream world that maybe someday things will get better.
I have done what the angels have asked of me so far, and it is leading up to the fulfillment of a return to Eden. It is a vision that the angels are giving us for the way the world can be. Is it going to take some work on our part? You bet it is. Having a whole world living in harmony isn't going to come about easy. There are political systems and religious groups, and they all want power. These groups will do anything to get it or keep it. As you know, we, the people of this planet, have not been able to change it much. Sure, there have been revolutions in the hopes of change, but they just trade one power for another. It is sad, but no matter how you look at any power and control, they started out for the good of the people. It starts out for the people, but always ends up doing whatever it is needed to stay in power. It becomes the system that is important, and the people suffer sooner or later. There is a way to change all of that. Michael and the other angels, I'm going to let Joe get set there. All right, there's a way to change all of that. Michael and the other angels have been telling us how to do it. It has been prophesied by Edgar Casey and the Bible that a small group of people will raise their vibrations to change the consciousness of the world. In other words, to bring Eden back to earth. The number that Casey was talking about was given in the Bible in the book of Revelation. That number is 144,000. We as masters can come together, raising our spiritual vibrations enough to cause critical mass in the consciousness of everyone on this planet. This mass cannot come about, though, through political or religious means based on the exclusion of others. Critical mass cannot take place through wishing or hoping things were different. This cannot take place by 144,000 people reading email and on a certain day and time meditating on it happening. I say the people needed to bring about this change are we, masters. It can only take place through 144,000 masters with a spiritual, conscious, willful intent. This intent must be of inclusion for everyone's common and highest good. When this number of gathered masters raise their vibrations and join in a spiritual, conscious, willful intent, critical mass cannot help but to take place. The world will be changed forever. I promise you all, we can have a world that works for everyone. We can have a world where cooperation is the standard way of acting towards one another. Everyone will have enough and live healthy lives. Respect for each other and every living thing in this world is a way of being. The air we breathe and the water we drink is clean and safe. Poverty will not exist, nor will there be crime. The world I'm talking about is our birthright as children of a loving God. However, it is that we have come to forget the truth, and this undisputable fact doesn't matter. What matters now is it is up to each of us to choose to reclaim our birthright. What matters now is that we choose to be the ones that will take the actions to bring about the return of Eden. If after reading this book you feel you are called to be one of the 144,000 that will change the world, I suggest you do the baptism that was given earlier in this book. It may help you on a deep spiritual level to be clear on your choice. The next thing for you to do is to attend the gathering to really understand the gifts you are and the giftedness of others. From this profound spiritual uplifting quantum event, you can choose to gather other masters and teach them to teach. Once a year, the masters are given an opportunity to come together as a community in oneness. This yearly coming together has become known as the Eden event. Each year is different as masters get to explore their four natures as children of a loving God. The first year we dealt with the mental aspects of who we are in our gifts and traps. The second year was for the emotional aspects. And this coming year, we are about exploring the physical. In this physical year, the masters will be exploring the possibilities of creating and manifesting abundance and prosperity. It is our birthright to be abundant and prosperous in all things and ways in our life. I have a vision for the world, God's children living in harmony once again. I have a vision of God's children living in Eden once again. I have a vision of 144,000 masters gathering together with spiritual, conscious, willful intent, bringing back Eden as a world and not just a word. Bless your hearts, be at peace, and teach only love. And that is the end of the book.
Yay!
Yay!
So, Joe, you finished that somewhere in the middle of the Eden events. You want to kind of give us a little explanation as to what was happening with those Eden events and what we did as groups when we did those gatherings, those yearly gatherings?
Yeah, well, Michael kind of instructed me that we would be getting together doing this. So we started doing what we called the Eden events. A long time ago, and years ago. And then what happened was for the Eden events, they were set up as to where they were in different parts of the country according to the flow of the gate energy. And the first one that we did was up in Galesburg, Illinois. And then we moved around the country. We were in, where was it? Tahoe. And we were in Virginia. We were in Georgia. We were in Ohio. We were in Austin. And we were in Yellowstone. So we moved it around. Then after we'd finished doing all of this, we did another one, which was kind of in the center of it, which was in Kansas City, Missouri. And then that was it. So after that, we started doing what we call the Children of Life Conference. And what I do, or what I've done with the Children of Light Conference, is I've kind of moved it around to different areas. One in the east, one in the west. One in the east, one in the west. So we were moving it around. And then what I did was I had it in Dallas. Or I think that's where I had it. And then I moved it out to Atlanta. And then, God, I can't remember all of the places I've been. Then I think there was one in Denver. And then there was one, last year was in Colorado Springs. And the year before that was in Dallas. So I really liked the hotels because they made it available. And as far as the needs that there were for the conference, those places were ideal. So this year was going to be set in Dallas. However, there was this little problem because we generally get somewhere between 150 and 180 people. And with this thing called the coronavirus that's been going around, we couldn't have that many people in a room. So that put the dampers on that. So after talking with them about it, what I did was I postponed it. So it's still going to be in June, and the dates are on my web page for the conference, but it's going to be in June of 21, not 20. So that gives us all a break. So that's going to be the or where it'll be. Now, what I do at the Children of Life's conference is each year we have kind of a theme that we work off of. And not only that, but I get speakers to come in and speak about something that may or may not relate to what it is that we're doing. But it's very informative. And then for those of you who haven't been there, we also have different people which are vendors who sell different products. I have a table set up where if I sell it online, I've got it at the conference. And then there are other vendors there who are vending, so to speak. And, you know, that's part of what goes on. Now, it's a 4-day event. It starts Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock, and then it goes till we're done. We don't go past midnight. So then the next 4 days, or the next 3 days, we start at 9 o'clock in the morning. And we don't generally go past 10 or 10:30 on those. So we do chanting, singing, processes that Michael gave me to do. And a good time is had by all. So one of the things about this is somebody described it to me. It's like a big Thanksgiving dinner where all of your relatives get together and there's no arguing or fighting.
Oh, no.
Some people, you know, it's like a big family get together, and you get to see people that you haven't seen for a whole year. So there have been some people who have been coming to these year after year since the very first one. So it gets pretty exciting sometimes. Then there's a process that I do that I call the blessing. And I learned this from my teacher, who learned it from his teacher. My teacher was Alexander Everett. His teacher was Muktananda, and Muktananda's teacher was Nityananda. So it's called Shaktipat, which is the passing of the blessing. It's a divine feminine energy, and it's a very powerful experience. So,
And I took that from you, so.
Yeah. Okay.
If you remember. Yeah. If you recall.
So there's, it's quite a powerful experience. I had this one gal, after I gave her the blessing, when she got her mind back together, she said, "I would follow you anywhere." And I said, no, don't follow me, follow what I teach. So, you know, yeah, it's like people have to understand that this is a divine energy. It's not about me. I just know how to be a conduit to allow it to flow through me. So if you haven't experienced Shakti before, it's something you'll never forget.
Huh,
So
that's true. That's very true.
So are there any other questions?
Jeff, do you have any questions?
Let's see. Let me think. You ask your question.
I smelled something burning.
Yeah.
What are you cooking?
No, he's talking about my brain.
Brain cells.
Yeah.
That's cute. So, Joe, while he's thinking, I was going to tell you that we are planning on moving on to talking about the Gate of Grace in our next video, and then starting to talk about the oils and the tuning forks, and show people about the tuning forks and that, so on, such like that. So you're going to possibly be getting orders from from on your website, from the videos that we're doing. So, but that's going to probably be the next one, is the Gate of Grace, and we're going to discuss that. And
I just happen to have a bunch of those made up.
perfect.
every year before the conference, I get all of the stuff that I talk about and teach and put it together and carry it to wherever the conference is going to be, so that if people want to purchase something, I've got it there. So I usually have someone come out and help me get ready and pack up and do inventory and get everything that I need. And with the virus, they're not coming this year. So I'm not packing up this year. But yeah,
Okay.
if people want it, hey, I either got it or I could get it. So
Perfect. Jeff, we were talking about how this chapter in the book was really it applied to today, and it's about being in conscious, willful, spiritual intent, and holding that vision of what you want the world to look like. And I think that with what's been going on, and with the COVID coming out, the coronavirus, and a large group of people got together, 3 different groups actually. We had, I think I counted over 120,000 at the same time that were meditating. So, and I do know that the Schumann resonance went up. It spiked on that day because the reports that came back from David Wilcock, he had shown how that had spiked while everyone was meditating on April 21st, 2020. And maybe since we're not having a conference, we could plan on doing some sort of conscious meditation on the 21st of this year.
I think that is a capital idea.
Okay. So maybe getting it on a Zoom call or a YouTube live or something, but something so that the masters can all join in and meditate together.
Right.
Since we're kind of stuck with this coronavirus thing going on. So, yeah. Is there anything else that you want to say, Jeff?
Yeah.
No, I was going to say,
Joe?
just like Joe, just like what we were going to do at the conference, why couldn't we do it over, like a Zoom call, with everybody getting in and doing a meditation and what?
Singing the 7 names of God and
doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, there are some things that, we can do all spread out. But here's one of the things about a conference: when you get all of these people together, what happens is something that's called a group dynamic. And it's because everyone is in such close proximity. It's great for what we're going to do, but it sucks as far as the coronavirus goes. So there are things, yes, we can do in a Zoom call and so on. And then there's other things we just can't do because it's a proximity limitation.
Yeah.
But I'm
didn't you
sure
say
we
God?
can work. Pardon?
Didn't you say God is very forgiving? He could, put a little juice to it, knowing their situation.
Possibly.
Well, I kind of look at it like this: God is very understanding and very forgiving. Now, we were given a number of people to have that would have changed the consciousness of the planet at an event. And for 3 years, we tried to have that number to create that vibration, that frequency, that harmony, and we didn't do it. So, as I look at this now, I kind of wonder, had we done that with the consciousness of the people have shifted enough to where we wouldn't be having this coronavirus thing. So the main thing here is God's very forgiving, God's very understanding, but there are certain requirements that need to be in place. It's like making a chocolate chip cookie without the chocolate chips. You got a cookie, but it's not a chocolate chip cookie. So if we're given something to do and a number to do it with, it works better if that happens. Now, here's one of the things that was very interesting as far as meeting a number. It was in, God, what was it? Estes Park? Was that it? Estes Park. We were given a number to bring the Shekinah back into our realm. We hit the number, and lo and behold, the Shekinah showed up. But what was real interesting is there were people that were leaving, and they took pictures. And in the picture, what showed up in some of them was it looked like the female figure of Kuan Yin. So it was like, whoa.
Very cool.
So that kind of said to me, yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
So
well, and then the conference in one of the Colorado conferences, when we were given the wholeness blessing, and Michael had said, if you get 333 people, you will be able to pass. We will be able to pass this vibration onto you, and then you will be able to take it out to the world. And we had, I think, over 340. So we hit the number on that one too.
yeah.
So yeah. So we have been able to affect some change, and we just keep going, but Joe, I have a question here from Shelby, and she wants to know if you're planning on doing any classes on Zoom at all, being that no, okay,
no, I hadn't planned on it.
Okay.
My main focus so far was to get this conference done, and now that hasn't happened, so I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but yeah, there is a possibility of it, and we'll see. And so that answer the question?
Yes.
If I do, everybody's gonna know about it.
Yeah.
Because you know me, I can't keep my mouth shut. So.
Great. All right.
Is there anything else?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay, now let me put in my 2 for a nickel in closing. We're dealing with a virus here, and the virus doesn't care what nationality you are, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, whether you're a man or a woman, young or old. It doesn't care. The virus just does what the virus does. Now then, granted, we're all doing a bunch of spiritual work. And granted, we work on ourselves to keep our spiritual vibration as high as possible. So that doesn't make you immune. So what I want to say is, don't be stupid thinking that, oh, well, I'm not going to get it. Well, maybe you won't, but maybe you do. So my advice is, wear a mask when you're around other people and out in the public, because it only takes one. There was Like in China, there was one person that got this virus from a bat or wherever. And then boom, look where it's at today. So take care of yourself. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. And it's also a good idea if you're out in public to wear glasses of some kind, because that keeps the virus out of your eyes, so to speak.
Oh,
So
it keeps
it's
you
like
from rubbing your eyes too.
keeps you from rubbing your eyes too. But you know, like I say, don't touch your face. You know, I think the average person touches their face 300 and some times a day. So don't touch your face. And then there's an old commercial that came on a long time ago when I was young. And there was this kid, and he was coming in through the back door, and he put his hand on the door to push it open. And when he took his hand down, there was a handprint there. And he walks on into the house and goes through the kitchen, and his mother's sitting there cooking something, and she says, "Wash your hands, Roger." So he walks on into the living room, and his grandmother and sister is there. And the grandmother says, "Wash your hands, Roger." And his sister says, "Wash your hands, Roger." So he goes into the bathroom and he's washing his hands, and he's not too happy because everybody told him to wash his hands. And he says, "Wash your hands, Roger." So don't touch your face, wear a mask, and wash your hands, Roger.
That's funny.
So,
And if you feel so inclined, in order to keep your inner peace, I know several of the masters that sing the 7 names of God on a regular basis, and that brings a little calm and a peacefulness to you. So that is something that you can do, that the angelics have given us. So, having said that, stay safe, stay vigilant, and love your neighbor, right? Love, love, love.
Love, love, love. Sing Laurel's song.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go. We have dinner going here. So bless everyone's heart. Be safe. And I'll be coming out with a newsletter pretty soon. So if you're not signed up for the newsletter, you can go to the webpage, beatpeace.net, and sign up for it. Also on the webpage, there's angel visits. Any angel visit I've had is on the webpage, so you can read those. There's a lot of good information there. Okay?
Yeah. Awesome.
So, from my heart to yours, be safe, be at peace, and teach only love.
Thanks, Joe.
All
Thank you,
right.
Thanks,
everybody.
Joe.
Until next time. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.